والمحمود هو الله والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وبعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May his peace and salutations be bestowed upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the one who fought tooth and nail for Islam to get to every corner of the world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow unto him his full blessings and mercy, and whoever is to follow his footsteps till the day of judgment. Allahumma Ameen. Ay Allah nkusaba abakazungu bwe bali wana batategera Luganda. Do we have anyone who doesn't understand Luganda here? Oh no. Nabadde wano nga nsabiddwa tayi Allah singa kali wakiri ntuuka walimikubeera waya. You also don't understand Luganda? Okay. Would you forgive me if I dedicate this session in Luganda? I mix, eh? Tugendera awo. Al-Ihsan. Being morally upright. That's why I'm here today. The world we are in today is having a lot that is trying to divert us from our normal, basic morals, socially, economically, politically, or any aspect of life you would think of. If we are Muslims, as we claim, if we are believers, as we claim, the question stands: are we amongst those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned several times in the Holy Quran, and he was like, min al-muhsinin? Are we amongst those who are morally upright? Guess what? Let's take these 4 factors as an introduction, if at all you want to know how deep Islam went in line with trying to train us Muslims to be morally upright. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran elevated the Muslim fraternity. This is the only group that is supposed to inspire others. We will never be positioned in a way of others inspiring us. Never. And whenever a Muslim group is positioned somewhere where they are getting inspirations from other groups of people, we are like, that's a total failure, because in first place Allah elevated us. Those who recite the Holy Quran, my elder brother Sheikh Nasif has just been a good example to us here. Quran is with us. Allah was like, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, kuntum khayra ummah. If you're a Muslim, Allah is like, you're in the best group of people. In a sense that when you're a Muslim, the fact that you're a Muslim, you're a believer, there are some behaviors you're going to get to adapt at. There are some behaviors you're going to behave in that way, in the sense that all other groups of people are going to get inspiration from your behavior. Kuntum khayra ummah. You're the best amongst all groups of people. And then Allah was like, if at all you want to stay in that position, there is a solution to that. Kuntum khayra ummah ukhrijat linnas. You're amongst the best of people, and we exalted you from the rest of groups. Ta'muruna bil ma'ruf. If you want to keep that position, you want to stay where you're supposed to be, you have to consider this as a principle. Ta'muruna bil ma'ruf. Please consider putting yourselves on track every now and then. That's our role as Muslims. Why? We need to keep that position. وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. You don't see your brother or sister getting off track and you don't put them back to track. Reason being, if they do that, all they are going to do is to put down Islam and to deposition us from where we are supposed to be. Are you getting the sense and the logical meaning in that verse, before you even recite it, how many people are you inspiring morally? As a group, Muslims, as we are here, are you sure all groups people claim to belong in, we Muslims inspire them? If we still have Muslim men who think identifying as Muslims is unclassy, and they recite that verse, even being as smart as reporting to the mosque and reading the 5 daily prayers, compulsory ones, Muslims are not adopting to that. And you claim you're inspiring others? If we are having Muslims who think putting on the hijab is not classy, and they have to modify it to meet other standards of some other groups, not Islamic groups, and you're reciting this verse, I think you get the reason as to why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is definitely going to punish many of us. We are doing the justice to Islam. And how I wish Prophet resurrected today and his companions, and we are like, Ya Rasulullah and your companions, we are the Muslims of today. All we are doing is abusing ourselves, disrespecting ourselves. All we are doing is giving a bad image about Islam to anyone who isn't a Muslim. Are you sure in your society you're in, how many of your neighbors love Islam and you're the reason? And you think you're a nice Muslim? How many of your workmates, fellow students you relate with, love you because of your religion, because of the way you behave? And you think you're a nice Muslim? And I think, Ihsan, this topic of trying to remind us Muslims, our moral, like how we can morally be upright, I think it's vital, most especially during these tough times. That's the Al-Ihsan we are on today. The first factor. For a Muslim, if you want to be morally upright, you really have to know that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in an authentic tradition that is known, a very long one day Jibril alayhi salam descended to the Prophet and he was like asking him some questions. Amongst the questions, Jibril was like, Ma huwa al-Ihsan? I want you to teach me about Ihsan. And then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was like, An ta'budallaha ka'annaka tarahu. The true sense of being morally upright is when you get to the level where you feel you're worshipping Allah. Of course, in worshipping Allah, I don't mean prayers alone. No. Any act of worship that pleases Allah falls under what we call ibadah. So the Prophet is like, An ta'budallah. Whatever you do as an act of worship, you have to do it having this sense, Anna Allah yarak, knowing that Allah is with you wherever you are. Will you steal after knowing that, even when no one is seeing? Will you fornicate after knowing that, even when no one is seeing? An ta'budallah ka'annaka tarah. فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ. Prophet knew that we are going to oppose him. Because many of us are going to be like, okay, of course I'm not seeing Allah, of course I'm not seeing him. And then Prophet was like, فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ. That's very obvious. Prophet knows you're not seeing Allah, but put it in mind, أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَاكَ. Indeed, Allah is watching you. That's the first factor. If you want to be morally upright, please never skip that. That's when you're going to be a good, better husband, if you consider that as a factor. You're going to be a good neighbor, if you consider that as a factor. You're going to be a good student, a good father, a good mother, a good Muslim believer, if you consider that as a factor. Rawahu Muslim. The second factor, what we call ihsan, also encompasses this as A definition. اتقان العمل الذي يقوم به المسلم. It's perfecting any act you're to do as a Muslim. If you decide helping others, you help them in a true sense of helping them. You're practicing ihsan. If you're teaching people, you teach them in the true sense, clean, clear intentions, and that's ihsan. If you're listening, nurturing your kid, you nurture them. Having this in mind, you have to perfect whatever you're doing. If you're doing that, you're a good Muslim. Ihsan. Even at your job. If you're given a job, a task to accomplish, Islam is like, if you want to be someone who is having ihsan, execute it. Do it all. Don't leave any gaps. You're a nice Muslim who is practicing ihsan. And you have to strive hard to make sure all you're trying to achieve is the best out of whatever you're doing. Are you going to perform dhuhr in 2 minutes, if at all you understand that? Are you going to help others for the sake of helping them, not knowing that helping them is of your own benefit? Of course no. So if you put this as a factor, Islam is like, if you want to be straight, the second definition that is under ihsan, you have to consider. You have to consider knowing that you have a task of perfecting any act of worship you get on. If it is helping others, please do that, even when it's smiling. You don't fake a smile in Islam. No. Instead of faking it, keep it for yourself. No one is going to blame you for that. But you don't fake it. And this is the training of Islam. The third factor. Maratibuddin thalatha. Islam has levels. The first level is Al-Islam. When you say Shahada, you bear witness that Allah is one and the Prophet is also the last Prophet. You're a Muslim. That's all you need to do. Secondly, after being a Muslim, Al-Iman. A believer now. You have to believe in all the pillars of faith, and you have to believe in the 5 pillars of Islam. That's when you qualify to be a believer. That's where you're going to get to know that many of Muslims are not yet even at the level of being believers, in the sense of being believers. Should I challenge you? Are you sure you believe in the last day of judgment? Are you sure? I'm asking you, Bantu. Are you sure you believe in the last day of judgment? What makes you sure? When did you visit whatever is going to happen in the last day of judgment? And why are you even praying 5 times a day? If someone gets to you and they're busy asking you, who is Allah? How can you easily give an answer to that? Because you're believing in Him. Let me give you a principle. Allah is never afraid of our reasoning capacity. Wallahi al-azim. Nothing in Islam that doesn't, if it doesn't make sense to you, the problem is with your mind, but it's not with the context. And that's the principle in Islamic law. Allah is never afraid with you exercising your reasoning capacity. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically, I was just trying to challenge you. Of course there are answers, authentic answers to all those questions. But how far have you gone in line with getting to know those answers for you to stay in Islam at peace? Obana yebakufunza mu nsonda we bati nebakubuza nti kati musiramu we tutugane omazebe emyaka 2 3. Okay, barakallahu fikum. Naye Allah yavaawa ogamba otya muntu gwe mungambe ko kyemuyinza okugamba What do you say? Yes, please. Ikhlas. That's for Muslims. I need to be a Muslim to understand that. If I'm an atheist, I don't need Quran to believe. You have to use logic to make me understand that. How are you going to use logic to make someone understand that Allah needs to be there? The simple answer, to cut the long story short, is that's the wrong question. Is it right if I ask you that if a baker bakes a cake, who baked a baker? Is that question right? If I tell you that, okay, a baker is baking a cake, now I pose a question, who baked the baker? Can it be right? Do you need to be do you need to be baked in order for you to become a baker? I think you get the answer now. As simple as that, simple logic. So Allah is never afraid with our reasoning capacities. Please take that as a principle. And please, whenever you're trying to guide people, don't tell them that Allah stopped you from over asking. No, that's where answers are. And the principle in Islam is Fas'alu ahla dhikr. Just ask people who are well informed. If you ask me something and I don't know it, it's okay, I don't know it. Look for Professor, maybe Professor knows. As simple as that. Look for Sheikh Nasif, maybe he knows. And that's the principle in Islam. Please, let's also get to know that. The level of Iman, a second level. And then lastly, Al-Ihsan, the level of perfecting your morals, the level of being well behaved. It's the third level. And it's better than your faith, it's better than only being a Muslim. In a sense that when you're a Muslim and you're not morally upright, uvaitanga abasiramu sikanga mu ebigere mabega totuswaza ojja tuswaza sigalangayo. If they call for someone who is a believer and you're not morally upright, please don't even register your name amongst believers. Sigalangayo obanga oli mubavumi. Sigalangayo, you've not yet. Not until you get to the third level of Al-Ihsan, being well behaved, having that sense within you, in respect of the morals, being upright, now you're a perfect Muslim and believer that anyone should get inspired by. And lastly, the last factor, it's only ihsan that Allah designed, that if you portray it, you emit it, you give it out, people that are receiving it will definitely give it to you back in the right currency. It's only that. And it's evidently witnessed in the Holy Quran when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran was like, Hal jaza'ul ihsan illa al-ihsan. Do you know of any reward that is as a result of someone being good, apart from just giving them good back? So in a sense, logically, Allah was like, if someone is being good in dunya, following my orders, come on the last day of judgment, all I'm going to do is to give them back goodness, because that's what they deserve. And this factor brings a principle. If people hate you, motivational speakers, you know people hate you. And you're busy saying, kasita simwe abalina omuka oxygen, kasita simwe benzijako tuition, kasita tompa zindiisa, and you're busy staying in your bad story. Islam is like nedda bambi. Ekyo kyokka it's a sign nti Allah akutandikiddewo ku duniya wano. Mu kifo ky'okunoonya ebikugumya, look for perfecting. Morally, abantu batandika okwagala ng'obayisiza bulungi. So when you're a parent and all you're giving your kid is hatred, omulumya, omukotogera, omuwabutwa, omuwagagambo gakyamu, Trust me, after 30 years and 40 years, it won't be news if your kid slaps you. It's only with good morals. You give them out to people, you receive them back. And the opposite is true. If you're a husband, you want to find out the monster in your wife, just give out bad morals. You're going to receive the monster you deserve. The same applies to a wife. You're a wife, you're going to get the currency of what you deserve. It's only on ihsan. Only that. How I wish every parent, every kid, every neighbor, every student, every teacher, everyone in our society understood that. Where are we going to get the wrangles from? That's the true sense of ihsan. And Allah is busy giving us this on a hot plate. If you want to get good from people, treat them good. And how are you going to treat them good without being morally upright? How are you going to treat them good without being well behaved? How are you even going to treat them well without even considering some basic behaviors within the society? And that's the guidance of Islam. Before I even give you out some of the ways we are supposed to behave in Islamically, please, that's where ihsan lies. Let's be nice Muslims. You know Jannah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew nti waliwo abasiraamu abagenda okujjanga balugesigezi, and they will think that are telling you Jannah bajjana kufuna amaanyi agagoba abantu mu ddiini muno. Some people are well designed, and you might think that maybe they are having the keys of Jannah and hellfire, and one you just slide slightly and they are like and that's why Allah Himself never even granted any of us powers to grant Jannah. And you know who is having the last powers? It's Allah Himself. And He is to consider ihsan before even granting you Jannah. One day the companions, radiallahu anhu, were with the Prophet. And then Prophet was like, no one is going to enter paradise when they are considering only their deeds, like the salah, siyam, qiyam, and hajj, and so on. So the companions were perplexed. They were like, really? It doesn't make sense. I'm praying because I need Jannah. So they were like, okay, it might be understandable for us companions, but even you, Ya Rasulullah, you won't enter paradise because of the salah you're performing, because of whatever you're doing? And then Prophet was like, yes, even me. And then lastly, Prophet was like, إِلَّا أَن يَتَغَمَّدَنِيَ اللَّهُ بِرَحْمَتِهِ. Anyone who is going to enter paradise, the deeds are not enough. You need Allah's mercy for you to enter paradise. How dare you put me off paradise? Are you getting the point? Aren't you aware of a lady who mistreated a cat, denying it from only having something to eat, locking it up in one room, and the cat died? Only that was a certificate for this lady to enter hellfire. Only that. And a man in an authentic tradition who helped out a dog, just to give a dog something to drink. A dog. In our today normal understanding, do you really think someone can attain Jannah with a dog? A dog. Singa wali nabbi muntu gwe wandigimuwadde gwe. But so Allah is busy giving out His Jannah, birahmatihi, His mercy. Let's be Muslims. It's not your role to certify people entering Jannah. Never will it be. And please, Allah jakuswaza nga mwefiiridde wano ku dunia ng'olina abantu bolaba mu muliro, naye mutuuke ewa Allah bakuleke mu bbaliro. Okimanyi kisoboka ekyo? Mulimu ebintu nze bye ndowoozaako ne nva ku bantu. kyeka mati munabirowoozaako naye Allah ye muntu asonyiwa. Gwani yakugamba nti olw'okuba yagaana abantu okubba ye kenyini ye yagaana ani asobola okukyusa akawaayiro yeye oba ggwe? Are you understanding my point? When Allah is giving rules and orders, it's Him. He's having all the powers. Kati mboyagala mumuwanika, you want to pin Allah and you're like, sebo Allah wagana abantu okubba ate ndaba omubbi ayingira. Come on, He's having the powers. Nga we yazina nga ateekawo etteeka eri. Sigamba ababbi abali wano beeyagale. Naye ngezaako kubategeeza. Let's know our position, and it's one of the principles and factors if you want to be a muhsin. You want to be someone who is morally upright, to know your level and you welcome it. It's going to put us amongst Muslims. Abatalinga basilamu balala. Madahir al-Ihsan. So Islam came out to try to teach us and guide us. Some of the ways you're supposed to portray Ihsan. Al-Ihsanu amrun shumuliyun. Ihsan is something, it's a principle, it's a factor that encompasses almost all other nice factors and virtues, principles, if I'm to say, into one thing. And being morally upright falls under Ihsan. Not abusing people under Ihsan. Not disrespecting people under Ihsan. Treating well your wife under Ihsan. Treating well your husband under Ihsan. Not abusing them under Ihsan. Treating well your kid, a kid treating well your parents under Ihsan. All that. لقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Because Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم was like, إن الله كتب الإحسان. Indeed, Allah prescribed Ihsan على كل شيء. Almost onto everything. Nothing on earth you will ever think of unless Allah was like, please consider the moral uprightness when it gets to this. Almost everything. The first thing, Al-Ihsanu fil qatl. You have to be well, even when you're killing. Olaba insanafu insanafu mujagala insanafu tekimuluzungu an ant nga tekirimu bukambwe, an ant tekirimu bukambwe. There must be something like red ant and you get to know the insanafu. Okay, that red ant, the Islamic guidance is even when you hate it, woba wakujita, hit it once, yefiye tojijako katwe ndojjako akagulu nojijako. You don't do that. You know why? Ihsan fil qatl. Yes, you're going to kill it, but remember the goodness while you're killing it. Hit it once. Anything that Islam allows you to kill, you hit it once. Okuja okalingirimu okwechanga changa kati ng'omusota ngo. So bomunundi ogumu. With a snake at least, you try your engage okuba ng'odduka. So okuba ng'okuba n'osooka n'odduka mukono okomawo nga tegunnafa bulungi n'okola ki. But when you have access onto it, you hit it once, and that's the Islamic guidance. You remember goodness even when you're killing. One day, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a gentleman companion was slaughtering a goat, and as he was slaughtering it, just besides it, another goat now. And then Prophet stopped him. Aturidu an tumitaha marratain? Come on, you're not supposed to slaughter this goat in front of the other live goat. Do you want to kill the second goat twice? That's the level of goodness. Mbuzi no jayogerako. Mbuzi. You see how sweet Islam is. Singa buli musiramu afuna kuntegeera ng'eno. Katini tupate tuogera ku mbuzi. Do you want to also ask me at the end of the session, abaana bo babiri buli omu kabibeze buli omu alina omusango gwakoze kya musiraamu, kwata akasooka okagalire mu kisenge, sabula ono asooka bw'omala omusabula agende ebweru oyite owookubiri omukole ki onaye omusabule okusobola okumuwonya emotionally kuba ayinza okutya ate nnyo. And the Prophet was like, come on, don't be too harsh and rude to that extent. Practice goodness even when you're taking away a life of something. في القتل فإذا قتلتم فأحسنوا القتلة. Even when you're slaughtering, you have to practice goodness. These people who in the abattoirs, you find 50 goats or maybe 50 cows on one canter lorry. Now the tail is up and this head is also, I don't know how do they even manage and they're driving these animals. Yes, they're going to slaughter them, but are you practicing goodness? So now we are this onkazi ntuya ene esimule n'entuuyo nga sebo yagala disi ekugamba nti ekisolo kikyunya. When the Prophet is busy stopping you from slaughtering a cow or maybe a goat in front of other goats and cows, how dare you tie this goat ogijembalala mpaka ebigolo byawo kulufula? Sebo sibye omutwe guli eri enti tebitegeera n'amaaso gamyuse, and you want a hadith ekugamba mbwento ogibonyaabonya. Sebo njagala nkutegeeze mu kinjaaji ggo oli wa kitalo waneeno tukutya okuba entengwala naye mu maaso ga Allah simanyi bw'ogenda kubyogera, because you're not practicing ihsan, goodness. Tewali buzibu, kwata obuteebo buubwo buteeke ku kanto okwo. Abamu basooka n'okusula ebisolo ebimu ne bifa mu kkubo, dying in pain. Kuba sebe ekisolo ekifudde nga kiri ku track awo tekifa bya bulungi, kyekyusizeewa tewali ne kyefiira ne byeyonoonako awo, naye nga sebo omusiraamu yatambuza. Saba Allah abire nga atuwa entegeera eyo. Al-Ihsan fi al-qatl. Secondly, Al-Ihsan fi nafsika ala ta'ati Allah wa ghayrik. You have to practice goodness onto your own self when it gets to obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. Pray 5 times a day. That's what Allah ordered you to do. Don't betray yourself. Perform prayers. Do what you're supposed to do Islamically. But also, it takes in taking good care of yourself. You have to be good to your body. No. Islam encourages you to be good to your own body. Even Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was like, your body has rights over you. Why don't you eat a balanced diet? No, besides akasente, besides akasente, why don't you take a balanced diet? Lwaki abawulu batuuka n'okubamanyira nti se omuli bali bacapati n'ebijanjaalo ne bakitongoza abamanyi ne bakkaanya nti emmere yabaki yabawulu. Yahi sunna gikutulewo weeyiweemu awo lumu ka proteins awo ka carbohydrates once in a while. You're being good to your body and you're getting rewards, and it's Islamic. That is how Islam trains us. Al-Ihsan ala nafsik. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, He was like, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, in ahsantum, if at all you're good, you're practicing goodness, ahsantum li anfusikum. The good you're practicing is going to benefit you. If you're praying, the salah is going to benefit you. If you're taking good care of yourself, it's going to benefit you, not anyone else. Please remember that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us that understanding. And Islam guides us even in line of the body. Temuzanyisa bibiri jammwe, I repeat, it is Islamic irrespective of gender. A man, take care of your body in line with goodness, wefunire empeera ezo oleme kusigala kuzasola zokka kyusa bukyusa niyamu. The same applies to the sisters. Ate you don't take good care of your body, sisters, to show it to the men. Nedda. Yesterday we analyzed those who are with us in the marriage halakas. We analyzed a female body, and we were like, a female body is never the same as a male body. And that's why, in this way, for example, the nakedness of a female body has 3 qualities that you will never find in any nakedness of any other creature on earth. 1, the nakedness of a female body is in a way that is discoverable. In a sense that after seeing her face, the fact that you're done seeing her face, it's creating need to see something else that isn't her face. After seeing her feet, after seeing her calf, or maybe thigh, whatever, the fact that you're done seeing that, it creates another need of you seeing another body part. It's only on a female body. And that's why Islam is like, please, let them cover the hijab, let the face be out, palms and feet. That's enough for people to see. Let them just keep imagining whatever you're hiding. And the second category quality is awratun tusaf. The body of a female is the only body that you can describe easily. You don't need a lot. She's not supposed to get very close to you to understand into your muchala. That's a lady and a female. And lastly, awratun tultafatu ilayha. It's the only body that has the nakedness that calls for attention. And the simple experiment is you do it on your own self. Any lady, any lady, niwabera mulalu ng'atambula ng'ayita ku basajja abasukka mu bataano. Just at 1 second, don't look at the lady, look at the men that are surrounding this lady. Nkulayira Allah, ntojja kusangamu at least 2 nga batunulidde oyo omukyala. That's what I'm talking about, and it's not on the men. Gwe musajja gwo oyitawo n'omubi gwo nga tokoleza attention yawo gy'oli wano. True or false? True. And that's why Islam is like, oh, okay, if this is a fact, then let these ladies put on something that isn't too small and tight, because they're going to call for attention anyway. Let them at least let it cover them all, because at least in covering their body parts, their whole body, only that is a sign of respect. And Allah in the Holy Quran, in line with being good to your body, Allah was like, ذَلِكَ أَدْنَا أَلَّا يُعْرَفْنَا فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ. That's the least you can do, sisters, to cover up. Put on the hijab if at all you don't want the public to define you as someone who is doing self-advertisement and someone who is too desperate to call for attention of men. Lady, if you put on a lot of makeup, does that become on ufewa? Ni webyulo webuula olukisusa. Tetwetaaga nnyo kumanya nti oli desperate kiri bubi. Ekyo kyokka kitulaga nti morally awokokagudde. Wokunama, you're showing your body parts out. No, these men are not going to get enough of that. Come on. Actually, this is also a factor. After them seeing you, wallahi al-azim, that's the end of your story. They will be interested in seeing another female, even when you're both ladies. kati bw'oteewuunya nnyo nti abasajja baagala ki kyokka alabye nze ate ayagala nakulaba na mulala. It's okay, that's men. So bw'otagamba nti kana kamulage ku kisambi ajja kutereera kweta ekisambi, nedda. Kyokka kyokola, you're disrespecting yourself. Omulaga kyayagala okulaba ye ng'amanya nti omwana ono kale mulungi ng'oswalira awo. May Allah please abeere ng'agumya abakyala baffe abasiraamu abeebikkirira. And the glad tidings are you're doing goodness to your bodies, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely respect you and reward you in line with that. The same applies to men. Another value, the third one, Al-Ihsan lil walidayn. Come on, you have to be good to your parents. The fact that they gave birth to you, that's enough. Be nice to them. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran was like, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Allah's decree is, you're not supposed to worship anything but Allah alone. But after that immediately, Allah was like, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Please, treat well your parents. Be good, nice to them. Surah Al-Isra, consider that. You will never be a perfect Muslim. I repeat, even when I'm the one speaking here and I'm bad to my parents, I swear to Allah, that alone can never make me a perfect Muslim. Of course, I'm good to my parents. But my simple message is, don't even think of writing your name amongst Muslims, amongst nice practicing Muslims. Why does your parent need a reason to justify you giving him or her your car? Really? Does your parent need a reason, a credible one, why they need some money per month? Really? And that's how you treat your parents. Does your parent, okay, simple math, in your salary, or maybe on your salary, out of your bills, how many of us have considered dedicating a portion, however small it is, every month, every fortnight, every week, depending on the way you earn it, and you're sending that portion to your parents without you asking for accountability, just like they never did? How many of us are doing that? And you're good to your parents? But how many of we are spending our money over stuff without even looking for accountability? Please, let's check our relationship. Let's be good to the parents. This is the guidance of Islam. If you're a Muslim, please consider that. You don't need your son and daughter 20 years from now, 30 years from now, or maybe when you're already having this daughter and son already grown up, you don't want them to forget you when you're ready in the old age. Don't you really think when your father is in 60s, 70s, 50s, late 50s, that alone as a son, as a daughter, who understand being good to your parent, that alone is enough for you to know that your parent is supposed to get something from your money. Once in a while, because they will not tell you. Some of the parents are just they are having this level of respect. They won't fall down to you. And they're like, no, they won't. And they don't need to go to that level. But even when some of our parents go to that level of crying to us, why do you even let them cry to you and they need some support from you? So someone who understands ihsan in that line, you don't wait for that level. You just dedicate that. Use mobile money. Send them some money. Even when they tell you, why are you sending me money, blah, 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 tell them, okay, it's okay. I'm sending you this money for my own goodness and sake. As simple as that. And that's the guidance of Islam. Factor number 4. Al-Ihsanu ila al-aqarib min al-nasab. You consider being good to your relatives, however far they are. And the sense of Islam is, if the society of Islam is going to be upright, let every Muslim play their own roles in as far as their relationships, maybe relatives, are concerned. Many of us here are already grandfathers because maybe you're in that title because of a reason. You were a father, yes, you're not yet married, but someone is calling you a father already. You are an auntie. So Islam is like, you have to be good even to your relatives. From where? The sources and from the offsprings. Play a role. If someone calls you uncle, be an uncle in the true sense of being an uncle. You're doing ihsan to them. How many aunties claim for Gomez's after 25 years down the road? They have no emotional attachment with these kids that call them aunties. Now listening us nyabo. Sebo oli wano owoze ensi ekalubye, economy ekalubye. A son to your brother calls you tata muto. Tata muto gwe. Not even a day. Sweet your way bibili. To go and surprise this son and daughter of yours. Atogena kwetaga ekitiibwa after 30 years. Timwana gwe mpanga kukitiibwa. Lwaki ompitako nga tombuuza. Asinzirirewa. Haven't you considered some people mukubaziika? Someone is burying sengawe. Someone is burying kojawe. Nenga amazima ekimuleesa. Just bamugambye nti sengawe weekindi. Naye nga tolina ononya neziga nga toliraba. N'okajja kuteekako face nkambwe kubanga tolinawo ziga lyojja fulumya ku muntu ono afudde. And when did we get to that? So the sense of Islam is, if you want to practice ihsan, please play your role. The day you become an uncle, be a responsible uncle. Once in a while, visit your brothers' sons and daughters. Even when you give birth, your brothers will visit your sons. Even when you die, tetujja kubanga kalangu kumutaanayo tibannanga anagenda okuyambako ku baana bano nga emumulaba maama waabwe aweddeyo ne taata waabwe yabaweddeyo kati baana bali awo naye nga gwe taata mutu naawe oli awo okola ne babaswaza bwe batyo. So Islam is like al-ihsanu ala al-aqarib. Being nice, the goodness to the relatives is in that sense. Because if it's in that sense, then we are going to be a strong Muslim fraternity, a strong Muslim society. May Allah give us that understanding. And that's why even Islam encourages us to be nice and good to our neighbors. These are the people who are very close to us, even when they are not Muslims. There is no teaching in Islam that will ever guide you to disrespecting your neighbor. Actually, he or she might be a reason for you entering paradise. For your own information, your neighbor, you have to be good to them. This is how sweet Islam is, in line with purifying our immoral society. Society today is being eaten up by bad morals. Immorality is like immorality, but Islam is always putting us back on the right track. Factor number 5. Al-Ihsanu inda muqabalati al-kuffar. Remember the goodness even when you're having a dialogue with the non-believers. We're in the society where people think they are getting rewards in portraying hatred innocently to the disbelievers. For your own information, lady and gentlemen, there is no position in Islam that allows you to disrespect, abuse someone because they are not Muslims. One simple question. Are you sure if it wasn't your parent and if it wasn't the Islam of your parents, would you be a Muslim now? Kumpaka abasinga ze tulinanga zikulabikako. Would you be a Muslim now? Are you sure? What makes you think? Is it too hard for you to understand that someone has not yet been guided? All they need is them to know more about Islam in a good image. Not even in a bad image. In a good image. Maybe for them to come and join us, but not to detest them. What are we doing today? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is busy guiding us not to even abuse whatever they are worshipping. You know someone who is worshipping an idol? You're not allowed to abuse that idol. And Allah gave us a reason. If you abuse whatever they are worshipping, they're going to abuse Allah in return. Because they have to retaliate. So what are you doing? And who told you that just because I'm putting on a kanzu and a cape, nintandika okuvaamu wano ebivumo, nintandika okuvuma amasanamu ago, nintandika okuwemula amasanamu ago. Kati musebo justification izze olaba Hussein yagavumye kati busiramu bukkiriza okukola ki ekyo omanya nti egyo miggo gyange wa Katonda ajja kumbuuza naye kati muwali muggwe okumanya wasoma wano. I'm stopping you from abusing them because bagenda kunvuma nange naye n'olemerako you abused them. So the goodness, even when you are having a dialogue with those people, it has to be with respect. Because in first place, many of you, you're only Muslims even right now. Wallahi lazim, I know many of Muslims will start doubting their Islam with only 3 questions. Oli musiramu n'emyaka gya 25 ate gy'omazeemu okyogera nakyogera emyaka 23 I'm a Muslim. Tofunangako na nsonga justifying you being a Muslim. You're busy getting energy to abuse whoever is not a Muslim. Maybe they are still looking for reasons. Olaba gwe omusiraamu akyali wano hijabu okyagiraba nga genyena. Allah yatugezesa ate tunakola ki? Katubeere mu hijabu yaffe eno bogo mulituttire wano. And they are Muslims 25 years down the road. They are Muslims. They have no reason to justify their hijab. That's why once in a while bajambala, once in a while nebajijjako. Nawe gwe kennyini musajja gwe ofuna n'amaanyi agadojinga yeswala and you're like Allah ajja kunsonyiwa. You're dodging eswala 25 years. Tukyayiriba naawe. What makes you think there is some little magic erina okubeera automatic ku bantu nga buli nga tebannabakola ki? So the Islamic guidance is you have to handle them with respect. Value them. Bategeera balinganga gwe. Yes. Nga nawe bw'obalaba nti bajja funa emiggo afterwards, nawe we bakulaba balabira ddala genza mu muzikiti ono tunatuuke adaagenda mu ggulu oyo we bakulaba naawe. So Islam is like no. There must be harmony. Tutuule wansi, I explain in respect. I explain my position, my stand. You explain your position without abusing. May Allah give us that understanding. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, وَلَا تُجَادِلُوا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Don't dare go in a dialogue with the people of the book, the Christians, or maybe other religions, إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ, unless you're considering to use the perfect flow of your statements, the perfect flow of your words, the perfect selection of the pitch, even when you're speaking to them. And that's the goodness when it gets to speaking to them. The last. Al-Ihsan ala awladik was-sighar. Make it a point to treat well your offsprings. With goodness, of course. Yeah, the way you treat your kid as they are still young is the way they are going to treat you as you grow old. Remember that. I've ever attended a funeral where someone was burying a dad, biological dad, and they never tugamba shed. They never shed. Shedded. Abamanyi baawukanya amangu ago. I never saw him cry. But I was there. After the funeral, I asked, he was my friend, I was like, not even a tear. He told me that he's only my biological father. I never selected him, but we have no attachment. And as a parent, you have two jobs. One, after giving birth to your kid, you have a lot to justify the position you're in now. Something that the kid doesn't deserve. Have you analyzed evidently the verses in the Holy Quran and the traditions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? They are busy training and encouraging the kid to treat you, the parent, well, because they know the kids are always at the receiving end as you're nurturing them. So what you give them in first place is what you're going to receive. So the goodness to the kids is treat them with goodness, kindness. They're going to emulate that. They're going to give that you back in the right currency as you grow old. Do you even know why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was like when the companion asked him and was like, between my mom and dad, who should I love most? Prophet was like, Ummuk. The second time, Ummuk. The third time, Ummuk. And then your father. Do you know why? They were not talking about a mother who is giving birth to her kids. She prioritizes her job, her job, firstly, permanently as a mother. A Muslim mother, ye mama prioritizing to grant them, nurtures them with goodness, good values. But the first permanent job is her being a mother, and that's why you deserve being loved thrice. Before you remember that you're supposed to be loved thrice, how far have you gone into making yourself deserve love thrice? When today we are having young kids ng'atandikirawo okulira nti bade mu nsi muno nga he and she is reading that from the parents. Nemufunamu obutakwataganawo katono nnyo n'osimattuka nti weeyogerera nti mwana gwe saayagala nakuzaala n'okikomyawo lwa nti olina obusungu bwo ne kiyita ne buziba. He or she will never forget that statement. Trust me. How many kids today ngo wali uplanzira mujjamu anga nakola ebyamagerawo n'omira akakere n'agaana n'okira bwoti n'agaana nimwawukana abamanyi nga aba family bawakkiriza ate gwogaana. I want a kid. Me, I don't want. Me, I want a kid. Me, I don't want. I'm going to try to abort. I don't want you to abort. Olumalanga emyezi omwenda guggwako miskini ng'ajja mu ntalo zammwe. I wanted you. I never wanted you. Or your father never wanted you. Me, I wanted you. So after 70 years down the road, you expect the same kid mbakuleetera kasukali nga mu buto wano bwonna wamusanga agagambo agamukolima olw'ebigambo by'olina n'ebbaawo. Trust me, be good and nice to the kids. Whatever business, whatever wrangles you're having with your partner, exclude your offsprings. That's paramount. Now, omwana n'obeera muwalimu, always remember that your mother is not your dad's mother. Your father is not your mother's father. Remember nti nga gwe woolaba omuwala gw'oyiriba naye wano ne taata wo bw'alaba maamawo. So before you even start throwing there a judge, naye taata kirabika oli mukyamu, naye maama kirabika oli mukyamu, remember toli mu position, oyinza okutaba mu position yogera ebyo. Your father is seeing your mom as you're seeing your upcoming wife. Tunaana kumuwasa. Please always remember that. It's vital today. Kubanga olwaleero, the society is training us. I don't know whether the time is up. We have 5 minutes. 5 minutes, eh? Okay. The world is training us that the kids are burdens to us And Islam trains us that kids are gifts. Yahabu liman yasha. Allah is like, He gifts. That's the statement, al-hiba. That's the statement Allah used. He gives us babies as gifts, in a true sense of being gifts. And I normally refer to the story of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his daughter Fatima. I'm like, you know how Fatima was just 7 years old. Some narrations were like she was 6 years old, but Prophet nurtured his daughter Fatima, to the level that he nicknamed his daughter, and he was like, Ummu Abiha, my daughter Fatima is the mother of her own father, because of whatever she used to do for her father. At 7 years old, Fatima was already nurtured to be dutiful to the father. Whenever the dad used to be stressed out, Prophet was like, I have Fatima at home. I'm going to switch back at home, and my daughter is going to put a smile back on my face. How have you trained your daughter and son to be dutiful? All you're training them is how rightful they are. Every kid knows it's my right to Wi-Fi, it's my right to a new room, it's my right to a nice education. It's okay if they are right, and that's your concern. Train them how dutiful they are at times. And that's the true sense of Islam, being good and real to them. And if at all we adopt that, we are going to be having nice families. Kids who won't sleep when we are sick. Kids who won't feel at peace when we are having difficulties. But today it's the opposite. Just because the father is very far from you, you even spend a week, a month, several months without knowing how they are. And they won't call you, because they are parents anyway. Kaego kaberamu. Tata omusajja yeekuliridde ekyasa kye yakuliramu si kye ekyasa kyo. Mutaze n'okwegumya nti omusajja akabamuko ekimusukirira akabamuko. Tata naye omusubira okukaaba. Ajja bba n'ebizibu bye bimunyiga. Ayina kati yafuuka jjajja, ayina n'abazzukulu. Teweetaaga mukubire kasimu wasi ne bwali mukyalire mukko. Mugambe mu assurance nti my dad, I'm having a car. You are amongst the people who don't need a reason for my car. And you're a nice kid now. Naye taata unaapangisa emmotoka ng'oli wano oyiribwa ng'ate ng'osobola okuyiribwa emyaka yo gya booda osobola okuyiribwa ka booda awo. Musimbe emmotoka agendebwa ku lubanne. Olunaku lumu banyumirwemukko agikuddize. Oba gwe muvugo omutwale, muwe driver amutwale. And we are like, mwana gwe oli mulungi nnyo. And saba Allah abeerenga akutuweera ejjana. And lastly, min al-ihsan kaffu al-adha 'ani an-nas. Lastly, it's a factor in goodness, in being good, when people are protected from your damage, your tongue damage. Buli akabi akayinza okuvaamu, let people be protected from it. That's the highest level of ihsan. Just because ewombe bakukuza oli muyombi ne bakufumbiza n'okufumbiza omusajja bamugamba nti mwana waffe oyo mulungi naye wazivaako omutegerera ayomba, and then nawe kati oyomba and giving that as a reason, and you're like kasita bamugamba nti ntera okukola ki okuwaba. And the good in Islam is please, newanga bakukuza nga oli muyombi, get that understanding and you're like nteekeddwa okuba nga abantu bawona akabi akandimu. That's paramount, and that's the guidance of Islam. All of it eri mu layini y'okuwonya abantu akabi akayinza okuvaamu. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us that understanding. I want to wind the session by giving assurance to you. In the Holy Quran, Allah granted us clear tidings to whoever is going to respect the goodness in them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. In several verses, Allah was like, Allah loves people who practice goodness at all levels. Allah loves them. And I want you to know that indeed Allah rewards al-muhsinin, rewards those who practice goodness. Definitely Allah does that. Just be good. And when you're good to others, of course, expect bad from them. You don't, like, being good to them is not for their own good, it's for your own good primarily. In a sense that even when you're good to someone and all you're getting in return is bad, it shouldn't make you bad. Yeah? Just because someone is bad, it shouldn't make you bad. Keep being good. And that's the sense of Islam. I believe if we adopt to such cultures, to such principles, it will make us better practicing Muslims who are going to get back to where they belong amongst the group that Allah elevated, exalted from the many, to inspire them. Whoever needs to know how we speak, he or she is supposed to check the Islamic way. Whoever needs to know how we behave, how we eat, how we marry, they get guidance from how we do it. We don't get inspiration from other groups of people. Indeed, our religion is just well packaged and well packed. All we have in it is enough for us to consider. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us that understanding. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us amongst people who practice goodness. Mulaba bino byetwekambwaza wano ku kazindaalo nga lwakuba twogera mu wano eno sekanda swifa atera okukiŋŋamba nenkwata wano kati imaani nenninnya wano kati oba kati nnyinza kinyindula ntya nenninnyawo nensooka mbajja mu busiraamu wano nensooka mbagamba nti wallahi tebwagala kusaala kyokka nga muzze mwabazze kati eŋŋamba temukyagala kusaala ennaku zino ate kati bulabulabula njagala obbakakasa wallahi ndabira ddala nga muzikiti guno abejja n'abantu batono nnyo bendabawo waneeno kati naawe n'otyamu nogamba nange ejja natunakiyingira ffe bwe mmalanga okuseeka ng'akazindaalo wansi ntuukirira mu ŋŋambe ti muganda wange ekisukanya oli muwalemu naye ako oyogedde owabizza nkulayirira Allah, if I mention, put out a statement just now, and that statement nefuuka ensonga to demoralize you, demotivate you from being a better Muslim, Allah is going to question me. How I wish everyone that is having an audience understands that. Allah questions me. Namakanzu gaega. Nanga kati sebo tetuganye nga weesomera eddiini nti ye mukama wange. Kati ng'otandika otya ng'atandika okugira bwenti ng'agira bwenti ng'ajogerajogera bwenti ng'ajogerajogera bwenti naye ihsaani gye twogerako nange sebo entendeka. Before you speak to the audience gy'ogenda okwogeramuko, analyze the audience. Bani bogenda okwogera nabo, tingenda kwogera n'abayizi ab'Emakerere oba abantu ab'Emakerere, nkakasa nti this environment ne bataba abayizi, they are the academicians, environment eno yokka y'abakugu. N'omanya nti kati ensengeka y'ebigambo erina kubeera bweti sebo ng'andaaga kubanga njagala practicinga ihsan. Era nve wano mu maaso nga nkuwadde essuubi ojje kwasibwa ogyesalire n'enkyokomewo ku subuhi osaale gwe mulimu gwaffe wano. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala akasinga nina okunyumira twamaze nno ddala desitiri mu kibuuzi wano akasinga okunyumira sebo newe mba njogera ku bubbi naye bintu by'obuwalimu bino baatutendeka newe mba njogera ku bubbi nange nfuukiremu omubbi kati naŋŋamba babaddu ba Allah njagala obbategeeza tuyitirize obubbi sibbangako naye mu ssebo olw'okuba ndi awo waliwo omubbi gwe njagala okugumya aleme kuwulira nti kale ali wala nnyo mbu kati amanye nti kati omubbi tuli ffenna mubbi gwe naye tusobola okukivaamu. That is a discipline nga ndi wano nsomesa temukiwuliranko tuyitirize obwenzi tuyitirize buki naye nga ssebo akyogera tomusanko ng'alina gw'ayenda naye naye mbusebo bakitugamba ekyo mbu tukuzeemu amaanyi mubbi gwe tukuzeemu amaanyi mwenzi gwe omanye nti ebintu bino bisoboka osobola okuvaayo bwoti tusobola okulwanagana bwetu tukole ki? You see how sweet Islam is. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us goodness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us goodness. It's the only factor webeera mu bintu ebyokola kikwawula mu bantu abalala. Yes. Ate kyolowooza nti just because twogedde mu goodness and now our expectation is kati mwenna mugenda beera good. Waliwo era atagenda beera good nga yakafuluma, which is okay, tekigenda nakunnuma naye nzija sinkoze gwange. Ate olaba ne nabbi bamutegeeza ti wama alayka illa albalagh. Nabbi wa Allah nno akola ne ku byamagero naye Allah n'amugamba nti gwe kyolina okukola tuusa abantu abo bategeere. Tokaka kati muntu gwa planning obutabeera good even after this session swalako. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abeereka atuwa that understanding. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.